Headmaster James Sullivan stood at his office window, watching students file into Evergreen Academy for advanced studies. The morning sun caught the building's unusual architecture, smooth curves and reinforced walls that most assumed were artistic choices. Sullivan knew better. "Headmaster, the quantum physics lab is acting up again," announced Vice Principal Rita Patel through the intercom. Her voice carried the same calm she'd shown during her decade commanding deep space expeditions. Dr. Harrison's attempt to demonstrate string theory accidentally created a minor temporal distortion. Sullivan checked his watch, an antique that had survived 3 wars and countless skirmishes. Contained. "Yes, sir. Though 2 students' homework assignments now technically haven't been written yet." He allowed himself a small smile. Just another morning at America's most unusual high school. On paper, Evergreen Academy was a prestigious STEM-focused institution. In reality, it was humanity's contingency plan, disguised as a place of learning. Every staff member had been carefully chosen. The cafeteria manager, Mrs. Rodriguez, had been Special Forces' top demolitions expert. The janitor, Mr. Thompson, was a retired quantum weapons specialist. Even the school nurse, Ms. Winters, had been a combat medic with experimental medical training. The students were special too, though they didn't know it, selected for their exceptional abilities, creativity, and adaptability. Their aptitude tests had measured far more than academic potential. Sullivan straightened his tie, catching a glimpse of the combat medallions hidden in his desk drawer. After 30 years in Earth's secret defense forces, he'd thought running a school would be retirement. Instead, it had become humanity's most elaborate defense project. A flash of light in the sky caught his attention. At first, he mistook it for solar glare on a passenger shuttle. Then 3 more appeared. The objects moved with deliberate precision, their metallic surfaces reflecting morning sunlight. "Hal," Sullivan addressed the school's AI system. "Analysis. 4 vessels of unknown configuration, sir. Size and design inconsistent with any registered Earth or allied craft. Energy signatures suggest advanced weapons systems. They're attempting to mask their approach, but rather poorly." Sullivan pressed a button under his desk, activating the school's secure communication network. "Faculty meeting in 5 minutes. Initiate protocol shadow. Quiet and calm." Across the campus, hidden systems hummed to life. Reinforced walls shifted imperceptibly. Sensor arrays disguised as modern art began tracking the approaching vessels. In the cafeteria, Mrs. Rodriguez's special menu items were moved to quick-access storage. The faculty gathered quickly, years of training evident in their casual efficiency. Sullivan studied their faces. These weren't just teachers. They were humanity's best, hidden in plain sight. "Ladies and gentlemen," Sullivan began, "it appears we're about to have uninvited guests. Dr. Harrison, your temporal incident may need to wait." "Shame," the physicist replied, adjusting his seemingly decorative glasses that doubled as a tactical display. "I was rather hoping to finish that lesson on quantum entanglement." "You'll have to settle for a practical demonstration instead," Rita Patel said, already pulling up holographic defensive grids. 4 ships, unknown configuration, but their approach pattern suggests military training. "First contact situation?" asked Ms. Winters, her medical kit already morphing into something far more sophisticated. "Negative," Hal's voice responded. "They're broadcasting on multiple frequencies. Most of it is encrypted, but I'm detecting phrases like easy target and minimal defenses." Sullivan felt a familiar calm settle over him. "Well then, it seems we'll be adding a few unscheduled lessons to today's curriculum. Mr. Thompson, are the building's maintenance systems ready?" The janitor smiled, his mop handle subtly reconfiguring itself. "Always, sir. Though I suggest we avoid using the quantum disruption fields near Dr. Harrison's lab. Might have some interesting interactions with that temporal distortion." "Noted." Mrs. Rodriguez. "Cafeteria's ready," she replied, her chef's apron concealing far more than cooking utensils. Today's special is strictly not on any known menu. Sullivan nodded, watching the alien ships draw closer. They were in for quite a surprise. Ladies and gentlemen, remember, the student's safety is priority one. But if these visitors want to learn about humanity, I say we give them a comprehensive education. Alert klaxons began to sound, disguised as regular class bells. Throughout the school, hidden defenses activated under the guise of normal security measures. Students moved calmly to designated areas, years of safety drills paying off. As the first alien ship entered low orbit, Sullivan straightened his tie one final time. Let's show our guests why Evergreen Academy has a perfect record in intergalactic standardized testing, even if we have to grade on a curve. The morning sun caught the school's reinforced windows, hiding the emergency force field shimmer. In classrooms across campus, lessons continued, though today's subjects would be decidedly off curriculum. Humanity's most elaborate defensive project was about to conduct its first practical exam. The first alien landing pod crashed through what appeared to be a normal gymnasium skylight. Instead of shattering, the reinforced glass bent inward, channeling the pod into a pre-calculated landing zone. Physical education teacher Mr. Ramirez, three-time Galactic martial arts champion, watched calmly while spinning a basketball on his finger. "Students," he announced to his class, safely behind quantum-reinforced bleachers, "today's lesson will cover practical applications of rotational physics and impact dynamics. Please take notes." The pod's doors exploded outward, revealing towering figures in crystalline armor. Their leader, nearly 8 feet tall, raised an energy weapon and roared something their translation systems rendered as "Surrender, Primitive Education Facility." Mr. Ramirez sighed, still spinning the basketball. "I'm afraid you're interrupting class. However, since you're here," he moved with practiced precision, launching the ball. It ricocheted off 6 different surfaces before knocking the weapon from the alien's grasp. "Who can tell me how I calculated that trajectory?" A dozen hands shot up from behind the bleachers. Across campus, the second pod breached the library's roof. Head librarian Ms. Nakamura adjusted her seemingly decorative glasses, activating their combat mode. "Please remember," she announced to the studying students, "all the electronic devices should be silenced." She pressed a button, activating the library's defense grid, disguised as overhead lighting. And no running in the library. The aliens found their advanced targeting systems scrambled by what appeared to be a simple card catalog computer system. Meanwhile, in the chemistry lab, Dr. Patel was having the time of her life. "Now, class," she said, mixing compounds with practiced precision, "who can tell me what happens when we combine these completely ordinary cleaning supplies?" The resulting reaction created a foam that rapidly hardened around advancing alien scouts, trapping them in positions that would have made modern artists jealous. "Excellent work, Jennifer," Dr. Patel nodded to a beaming student. "That's definitely going in your college recommendation letter." In the cafeteria, Mrs. Rodriguez had transformed her kitchen into a command center. Today's menu options are non-lethal incapacitation with a side of tactical superiority, she announced, directing her staff with military precision. "And yes, there will be dessert." The aliens quickly learned that her infamous Mystery Meat Monday special wasn't just a clever name, as several of their advanced scouts found themselves immobilized by her specially modified food processor's output. Sullivan coordinated the defense from his office, now transformed into a tactical operations center. "Status report," he called over the secure channel. "Gymnasium secured," Mr. Ramirez reported, teaching the aliens about ballistic trajectories. They're surprisingly slow learners. "Library is quiet," Ms. Nakamura added, emphasis on quiet as another alien warrior found himself silenced by what appeared to be an automated book return system. "Chemistry lab is." An explosion interrupted Dr. Patel's report. Experiencing vigorous academic discourse, the alien commander's hologram appeared in Sullivan's office, significantly less confident than before. "What manner of education facility is this? Our scans showed no weapons." "I believe there's been a misunderstanding," Sullivan replied, casually diffusing an alien probe with his letter opener. "We're simply conducting routine educational activities. Though I should mention, parent-teacher conferences aren't until next week." In the computer lab, young Kevin Wong was having the best day of his academic career. His extra credit project, a virus disguised as cat videos, had completely paralyzed the alien ship's communication systems. "I told you memes were important," he muttered, fingers flying across his keyboard. The school's AI, HAL, seemed to be enjoying itself entirely too much. "Attention students. Today's pop quiz has been rescheduled due to unauthorized extraterrestrial interruption. However, extra credit opportunities are currently available in all departments." In the art room, Ms. O'Connor was demonstrating why her background in tactical holographics had been so vital to the school's hiring committee. Alien warriors found themselves charging at student illusions, only to meet walls that hadn't been there moments before. "Remember, class," she called out, adjusting her projectors, "perspective is everything in art." The tide began to turn as the school's defensive capabilities fully activated. Hidden turrets, disguised as security cameras, deployed countermeasures that would have made military contractors weep with envy. The football field's sprinkler system proved to contain something far more interesting than water, and the band room's acoustic dampeners were apparently quite effective against alien sonic weapons. "Sir," Rita Patel reported, monitoring the situation from her newly transformed vice principal's office, "they're retreating from the East Wing." Apparently, they had an unfortunate encounter with the Robotics Club's latest project. Sullivan watched through the security feeds as a swarm of modified cleaning robots, led by enthusiastic honor students, chased alien warriors back to their landing pods. "Remind me to approve their funding increase," he noted. In the halls, Mr. Thompson's floor wax had proven remarkably effective at neutralizing alien gravity systems. Watching armored warriors slip and slide into carefully positioned capture zones, he allowed himself a small smile. "I do love a clean floor," he commented, pushing his mop with practiced efficiency. The alien commander's next transmission was notably less imperious. "This is impossible. You were supposed to be defenseless." "I'm afraid there's been a misunderstanding," Sullivan replied, watching as Mrs. Rodriguez's cafeteria team deployed what they called the lunch rush maneuver. "We take education very seriously here at Evergreen Academy. Perhaps you'd like to enroll. Our next semester starts in fall." As the morning wore on, it became increasingly clear that the aliens had severely miscalculated. Their advanced weapons proved remarkably ineffective against science fair projects repurposed for defense. Their tactical AI was no match for teenagers who spent their weekends coding for fun. And their mighty warriors found themselves repeatedly outmaneuvered by staff whose personnel files were heavily redacted for very good reasons. "Should we show them the math department's contribution?" Rita asked, watching the aliens retreat from another of Dr. Patel's chemical surprises. Sullivan considered the probability calculation scrolling across his desk. "Let's save something for the final exam." The tide of battle shifted dramatically when the honor students decided to get involved. It started in the advanced physics classroom, where 16-year-old Priya Sharma had been quietly reprogramming the classroom's demonstration equipment. The quantum uncertainty principle, she announced to her classmates as they converted their lab into a tactical operations center, isn't just theoretical. Her modifications to the school's particle accelerator, officially listed as a learning aid, created localized fields that made alien targeting systems about as accurate as a snowball fight in a hurricane. Down the hall, the Robotics Club had transformed their workshop into something that would have made military engineers envious. Club President David Nguyen directed his team with calm precision, their competition robots now serving a very different purpose. "Remember," he called out while calibrating what was definitely not a standard servo motor, "smooth movements and efficient power consumption. This still counts for our final project." "Correction," Sullivan replied, watching as another alien squad retreated from what the AP biology class had dubbed their Ecosystem Defense Initiative. They're students who've been encouraged to think creatively and apply their knowledge practically. Though I must say this is taking project-based learning to new levels. As morning turned to afternoon, it became increasingly clear that Evergreen Academy's unique curriculum was proving far more effective than anyone, except perhaps Sullivan, had anticipated. The students weren't just defending their school, they were rewriting the book on unconventional warfare, one academic subject at a time. Should we show them what the advanced mathematics class has been working on? Rita asked, monitoring another successful defense pattern. Sullivan watched as a group of seniors used calculus to optimize their countermeasure deployment. Let's save something for the final exam. Besides, he added as another alien warrior fled from what appeared to be sentient algebra, I think they're learning plenty already. The turning point came when the entire student body decided to coordinate their efforts. It started in the school's hackathon club, where senior Isabella Reyes connected all their independent defense systems into one integrated network. It's basically a massive multiplayer strategy game, she explained, fingers flying across her keyboard. Except we're playing against aliens, and the graphics are really good. The alien forces found themselves facing a perfectly synchronized defense system. Science club experiments complemented drama club illusions. Mathematics students calculated optimal deployment patterns for the robotics club's creations. Even the chess club's strategic algorithms were integrated into the school's master defense plan. In the chemistry lab, Dr. Patel's students had perfected their non-lethal deterrent formulas. Remember, she called out while mixing compounds, proper documentation is essential in scientific breakthrough. And yes, this will be on the final exam. The alien's sophisticated combat eye struggled against what it perceived as chaos, but was actually carefully orchestrated academic warfare. Quantum physics experiments disrupted their targeting systems. Biology projects introduced beneficial mutations into defensive measures. Even the art department's contributions proved surprisingly effective, their creative camouflage patterns confusing alien sensors. Sullivan watched from his command center as years of preparation paid off in unexpected ways. Status report. He called over the now Shakespeare encrypted comm system. The music department has successfully weaponized harmony, Rita reported. Apparently, alien combat systems don't handle back very well. Mrs. Rodriguez's voice chimed in next. Cafeteria defensive measures at 200% efficiency. Also, the home economics class has weaponized their sewing projects. Who knew tactical quilting could be so effective? The alien commander's next transmission showed clear signs of distress. Your learning facility. It defies all tactical analysis. That's rather the point of education, Sullivan replied calmly. Now, about that enrollment application. The alien retreat began precisely at 2:45 p.m., coinciding with what would have been the regular end of 7th period. Their once mighty warships, now thoroughly humbled by high school students and their teachers, limped away from Earth's atmosphere. In the aftermath, Sullivan gathered his faculty and students in the partially redecorated gymnasium. The alien landing pod had been repurposed as a temporary podium. Ladies and gentlemen, he addressed the assembled school. I believe some explanations are in order. But first, I want to commend every one of you on your exceptional performance today. Your grades will reflect your innovations. The revelations that followed about the school's true nature, the faculty's backgrounds, and the students' carefully selected enrollment were met with surprising calm. Perhaps, Sullivan reflected, they had all suspected something wasn't quite normal about Evergreen Academy. So all those safety drills were actually combat training? Asked Rachel Martinez, still clutching her revolutionary bacteria samples. And the weird architecture is actually advanced defensive technology, David Nguyen added, surrounded by his battle-worn robots. Precisely, Sullivan confirmed. Though I must say, you've all exceeded our highest expectations. The aftermath brought unexpected developments. The Galactic Education Council, previously unaware of Earth's unique approach to academic defense, immediately granted Evergreen Academy special status. Several alien civilizations requested student exchange programs, though they carefully noted their peaceful intentions. Mrs. Rodriguez's combat cuisine was classified as a controlled substance in 3-star systems. The robotics club's innovations were studied by military engineers who couldn't quite believe the results. And Dr. Patel's chemistry class received unprecedented grant funding, though the terms strictly prohibited any more creative experiments with the cafeteria supplies. 1 week later, Sullivan stood at his office window again, watching students discuss their homework, now with an added emphasis on practical applications. The alien landing pod had been converted into a combination art installation and memorial, covered in equations and student signatures. "Sir," Rita entered with a stack of reports. "You'll want to see this. We've received over 1,000 new applications for next semester. Apparently, word got around about our unique curriculum." Sullivan smiled, noting the fresh scorch marks on the quantum physics lab's door, now a badge of honor rather than a maintenance issue. "Well, we did promise a comprehensive education. Also," Rita added with a barely concealed grin, "the alien commander sent a message. His children would like to apply for our exchange program. Apparently, they're particularly interested in our science department." As the sun set over Evergreen Academy, Sullivan reflected on the future. They had built this school to protect humanity, but in the process, they had created something more. A place where knowledge truly was power, where science and creativity combined in wonderful and occasionally explosive ways, and where the line between education and innovation blurred into something extraordinary. "Hall," he called out, "please update the school motto." "Of course, sir. Any preferences?" Sullivan looked at the college acceptance letters already coming in for his senior students, many accompanied by classified job offers. How about knowledge, defense, and really interesting parent-teacher conferences? In the distance, another alien ship appeared, this one broadcasting official diplomatic credentials and what appeared to be enrollment inquiries. Sullivan straightened his tie and smiled. It seemed the next semester would be even more interesting than the last. After all, education was always evolving. Sometimes it just needed an alien invasion to help it along.